Pool is back. It's the first major of the year. We have 8 action-packed days ahead of us of world-class 9-ball. We're at Milton Keynes for the Predator Championship League Pool.
Milton Keynes has seen so much top-class sporting entertainment over these last 9 months or so. Lots of snooker, some darts as well. And now it's the turn of pool with the Predator Championship League. 19 of the world's best play night and day between now and next Monday night, when this tournament will have its inaugural champion. Here's how they're going to get there, an unusual and unique format. 1 group each day for 7 days. There'll be 7 players in each group. Every match will be raced to 5. The top 4 at the end of the round robin section go through to the group semi-finals, which will be followed immediately by the group final. The winner of that final will be back next Monday for the winners group. The beaten finalists, the beaten semi-finalists, and the players who finish 5th and 6th will be back tomorrow for another go when 2 new players will come in. Only the bottom player in the table will be eliminated altogether at the end of today.
Make sure I can hear it. Okay, so if we do go to a time clock,
what a cracking start we have. Really strong lineup for this opening group. Even when Joshua Filler, the reigning US Open champion, was forced to pull out a couple of days ago, he had a fine replacement in Ralf Souquet, and he'll be first up against Chris Melling. That'll be followed by back-to-back matches for Dutch veteran Niels Fyen against the women's world champion Kelly Fisher, and then the American Moscone Cup player Chris Robinson. He'll then be back on to play Chris Melling, who in turn will face Albin Ocean, and then Ocean will be on again in the last match of the session on this table against Ralf Souquet. So lots to look forward to. 2 tables going on, and don't forget it's all part of the same group, so we will keep you bang up to date on everything that's happening on table 2. John Lehman is our referee for this opening match, and alongside me, Michael McMullen, is Carl Boyce. Good afternoon, Carl.
Chris? Well, Michael, it's a pleasure as always to be sat next to you in the booth, and I'm really excited for this brand new event on the calendar. And what a match to get started.
Yeah, it's a format that's been around in snooker since 2008. There was Championship League darts for a few years as well.
Would you like to lag for break, please?
So many viewers will be familiar with the format to some extent from those sports. Obviously it's different because it is a different sport, and there'll be all sorts of nuances to it all that will be a bit different to how it's played out in snooker and darts over the years. You'll see players going on great runs. You'll see other players getting into a bit of a rut, struggling for confidence. All of these stories will play out over the next week. And first up, Ralf Souquet against Chris Melling. And Chris is going to start us off.
Contrasting styles to kick this new event off. Chris Melling, fans' favourite, plays on instinct, very fast. Ralf Souquet likes to look at his shots a little bit longer and make sure he's dialed down on the table.
Just some issue with the way the balls were racked.
Rack number 1, Mr. Melling to break.
There you see the first break of the tournament, and pretty successful. Cue balls kicked around the table, that's why it's landed on the top rail, and at first glance it's not going to be the easiest of pots.
Yeah, so for those of you who maybe are new to 9-ball, it's all about who pots the 9-ball at the end of it. The balls you've potted coming up to then actually have no impact on the outcome of it, but really at this level, Carl, it's all about trying to get something off the break, basically trying to make that run all the way to the 9-ball without your opponent even getting to the table. That's the optimum situation.
Yeah, smart shot there by Chris, using the black 8 ball and the pink 4 there to duck. Even if he could have potted the 1 ball, first shot of the event, it's not a shot you'd be desperate to be playing, that's for sure. So he's got the hook, and Ralph's in a spot of bother for his first shot.
You can legally pot any ball at any time, but the The ball you need to strike first is the lowest value ball remaining on the table.
Yeah, all Ralph's doing here is he's just trying to find, is there a natural path where he can just hit the one, and where that one's landed, it's obviously a little bit covered by the purple 5 as well, so great shot by Chris, though, had to be said. Not easy to judge first time at the table, brand new. You know it's going to slide. Oh, that's a great shot, that, to be fair. Just needs a little bit of luck. Will it land? Yeah, you'd be happy with that. Fantastic shot there from Ralf.
Ordinarily, of course, we might have seen him used as extension there. Now, there isn't an extension system and no formal shot clock here. However, matches will be monitored for how long they're taking, and if the pace of play is not deemed to be fast enough, then a match can be put on a clock which is operated manually. It was a good shot by Souquet, but Melling found a good response.
Yeah, it was set up and left the bank shot for Chris, so he's going to play a little carom here to pot the 8. Needs an angle here though to get over for the purple 5. Might have to top this ball through off the 2 rails. Yeah, just that bit of spin. It's died off him though. That's what happens when the table is brand new, the balls are brand new. You've got to just give that a little bit more than he did. He does have a pot of this. Fantastic potter is Chris Melling. Tried to play that with left spin, and in the practice room it'll probably just come a little bit more centre of the table, but on here it doesn't quite bite as much, but doesn't hang around in taking this first rack.
Yeah, the first rack we've ever seen in Championship League pool, and it's gone the way of Chris Melling. And it is going to be a very long day. I mean, whoever ends up winning this group will have played a total of 8 matches, but Carl, in pool that's the sort of thing the players are used to, because the formats generally do involve a lot of matches in one day.
Yeah, that's the nature of our sport. And this group format is going to throw up some fun results as the day moves on, that's for sure.
Yeah, and it's race to 5 as well, so we're talking players at this level, really. Anyone can beat anyone without it being that much of a surprise. That is Ralf Souquet, who, as we say, got the late call when his compatriot Joshua Filler had to pull out, testing positive for COVID just a few days ago, along with his wife Pia, who I believe was due to travel with him to the event. We wish them all the best. We hear they're in good spirits, but Joshua Filler really disappointed not to get the chance to get back into tournament action after relative inactivity for everyone over the last 12 months or so. But what a replacement to have. Ralf Souquet, 52 years of age, and one of the true legends of the sport. He starts us off in rack 2.
That's a pretty useful break as well. Balls go down. I have a feeling the 1 ball's just sat on top of the 8, so he can't pot it, so a little bit unfortunate, and this is a tricky position he's faced with. Of course, you can play a push out after the break.
Again, Carl, maybe just for some people who may be relatively new to 9 ball, perhaps you could explain that term.
Yeah, well, basically when you break off, you could be hooked on the lowest ball on the table, so it would be a little bit unfair if you had to, shoot at that ball. So after every break shot, you can push out. What that means is he can do anything on the table. He can even pot the 9. The 9 would respot. You can pot any other ball, but you have to remember your opponent can put you back in. Sure, we'll see plenty of push-outs as the week unfolds. Yeah, he's misjudged the 1 ball here. He was hoping that 1 ball would bounce a little bit further out, and I think when it contacted the 8, it's left Chris a pot here. Now the pot is on, but as you can see, the blue 2 is over the left side of the table, and the cue ball will be canning it into the 8, so he's got to judge that little issue. That's what he's just looking now there with his cue. He's just trying to visualise if he can clip the 8 a little bit thinner and play this with left spin, it might spin over a little bit. Oh, he's hit it full. This is going to work out not too bad, you know. He'll be more than happy with that. But he's not had much table time, and this is still a little tester. He's got to judge the gap through the 6 and the 8, and he didn't judge the gap. Didn't really cue that his best. It was more of a bit of a thud, and there you see the side spin just doesn't take on a new cloth. We've almost got to play that with lighter hands, and he's faced with a kick shot. Now he has been known to make a lot of these type of shots, so he just seems doing his little measuring trick.
Yeah, the kick shot referring to coming off the cushion first before hitting the ball.
He'll be happy with that. That's not a bad leave at all. I don't know if Ralf can see an edge. If Ralf can see an edge, he can possibly try and get the cue ball back over to where it is. If he can't, he's in all kinds. And he can't, he's just looking at that top rail, isn't he, Michael?
Nothing wrong with Melling's tactical play so far. We've seen a couple of really good shots of that nature from him, which may be partly explained by his background on the snooker tour, which he was on for a few years.
Well, he can see an edge. You know, Ralf is so good at that type of shot. I can't stress. Sometimes you can even miss the ball there, or you can hit them thick, but he is without doubt one of the best players in the world at that type of shot where you have to hide behind that one ball. Time and time again you see him lay the hook back. So Chris is playing a kick shot, and I think he's going to try and get this pink 4 down on the bottom rail. Not like that, but he'll be more than happy with that. I think he tried to play it off the 2 rails and he's hit it so thin. Maybe he did play that.
Chris Robinson, who made his debut for the US in the Moscone Cup in Coventry back in December, has won the opening rack on the other table against Alban Ocean, who was a member of the victorious European team that week. Again, this is a difference now with this format. Ordinarily, Souquet would be under pressure to get this shot played, or he'd have to use his extension, but as we say, no formal shot clock as such. So it helps on shots like this.
Yeah, he's just a little bit concerned he can't hit full enough behind this 4 off the bottom rail. And if he can't, you often see the cue ball squirt out. Oh, he's played that well. Purposely left the cue ball there. As he left the pot, has it gone behind the 9? It's a good shot though. Yeah, I think he's left the pot here, the way Chris is getting down pretty quick. Just overrun the cue ball a little bit.
Yeah, should be fine for the pot on the 6, but limited control over where the cue ball is going to go running after that.
I think he's gone for his extension. that shot's not really on a new cloth. I'm surprised he played it like that. It's always going to skid back where it went. He was trying to play cue ball underneath the 9 so he could play the 8 ball in the top left pocket, but the cue ball just doesn't bite on a brand new table. He should know better than that, to be fair, but you know, the guys have not played in these type of arenas for a little while, so we'll give them a little bit of slack, Michael.
Yeah, I mean, the Mosconi Cup players obviously did at the Rico Arena, but neither of these players featured in that. Just glorious playing conditions out there. All we're missing is a crowd, unfortunately.
Yeah, purposely played the black 8 down the bottom, trying to use the 9 as a blocker. Obviously he's not got the hook, but it's safe-ish. Now he does have a bank shot on. Now I'm not saying Ralph's the type of player that would take the bank shot on. Somebody like Billy Thorpe, who we'll see later on in the week, he's definitely that type of guy. Yeah, this is Ralph's type of shot, as I said earlier. Look at that. Guys, just try that. If you've got a pool table, just try and play that type of shot. It's so often easy to get it wrong, but he's so good at that type of shot.
Yeah, the bank shot, again, just to explain the term for those maybe not familiar, would be playing the ball off the cushion to send it to a pocket at the other end of the table, or the other side if you were playing it that way.
So Chris played off the edge of the 8 ball to leave some distance, slightly under hit the shot. Now Ralf does have a thin cut on here, and this is the type of shot where when you're a little bit younger they seem a little bit easier. You know, the pocket will accept this 8 ball, it will slide in, but you can often hit this thick and miss the pot. And played it well though, didn't he, Michael?
Well, he looks to have played it well all round. Okay, you could see this 9 ball missed, but I think you'd back him.
Yeah, it's landed on that 50-yard line, what we like to say in the world of pool and on your TV screens. This looks a lot easier than it does when you sat where Ralf is right now on the shot. It always looks scarily thin. He's had a little skid there, you know. Yeah, Chris is just getting the cue ball. What's the 9 skid? Just a small little skid turned over.
Well, it was really the only way to explain him missing it by such a wide margin.
It's a horrible shot to be faced with, you know, when you're not even got a rack on the board, and it's just, you know, as a player who's played and been in them situations, it's just a scary little shot to be faced with, and this is also a scary shot. But if there's one man you want to be knocking these in, it's the man at the table.
Looked like we were heading for 1-all. Instead, Chris Melling has taken the rack, and he leads Ralf Souquet by 2 racks to 0 in this race to 5 on the opening day. Chris Melling, 42 years of age, 2-time World 8-ball champion, long time ago now, almost 20 years ago in fact. He turned his hand more to 9-ball, won his first big title in that discipline at the China Open 10 years ago this year. That was worth $40,000 to him. And after that he focused on snooker for a while, had a few years on the professional tour. He's a decent player as well. But since dropping off the snooker tour, he's returned to pool in recent years with much success. Won the 9-ball division at the Derby City Classic a couple of years ago. Also won a big 8-ball event in Bucharest later that year, beating Jason Shaw in a gripping final. And here he is now up against another well-established and long-established name in Ralf Souquet, former world 9-ball and 8-ball champion. A late call up here, and he's late getting started in this match, already 2 racks to 0 behind.
Rack number 3, the current score is 2-0 in favor of Mr. Melling. Mr. Melling is breaking.
So rack 3, Chris will break. He leads 2 racks to 0. And the 9 ball's moving. And it looks like it's going to be a dry break.
First one we've seen. They both potted 3 balls off the break at their first go. You talked about the 9 ball moving there, Carl. Of course, if you pot the 9 ball on the break, that's it.
Yeah, it's what we call a golden break in the trade. Doesn't happen that often, but I'm sure we will see 1 or 2. There you can see the 1 ball, the yellow 1 ball doesn't have a clear pocket, so there's a bit of thought going on here. It's not a clear open table. You know, and if you're Ralph, you just want, I mean, this goes for any of the players in the tournament, you just want to get that first rack on the board. It's always nice to see that 1 next to your name.
So long as it doesn't stay at 1 for too long, of course.
That's the type of shot you often see the players attempt, keep the distance, but I think Chris has got a pretty good chance here of a good safety back. Pretty good. He had a good window over there. Just get the cue ball over to where he did, and you have the purple 5 and the green 6 ball.
Just the numbers are so big for Ralf Souquet. 17 Mosconi Cups he's played in, 23 Euro Tour titles. Well over $1.25 million in career prize money, which puts him well inside the all-time top 10. And even those figures, in some way, don't fully tell the story of what a big figure he is himself in the game. He's been around for so long. I mentioned the Euro Tour there. His first win on it was in 1992. His last was 25 years later. The longevity is absolutely astonishing.
Yeah, what you get with Ralf Souquet is, you know, 100% dedication. When I pulled up at the car park yesterday, I could see him exercising, and I thought, he's here, Ralphie boy, still going. He'll always give every shot 110%, and he does the right things on and off the table.
I was going to say, he looks amazing for 52 years of age.
Yeah, so after this blue 2, it's the red 3, and Chris is just looking at maybe playing a combo onto the 8. He's just weighing his options up. That's what he's doing there now. A lot will depend on where he gets this cue ball, of course. Yeah, he's trying to get him behind it. I think this looks good, you know. Oh, that's a nice shot. Very, very nice shot there from Chris. Found that gap, give himself options. Lovely shot.
It's been a good day for the Chris's so far, because Robinson of that name also took the first 2 racks on the other table against Albin Ocean. Ocean has, however, just won the 3rd.
He's got to spin this one in and miss the 9. He's just caught the 9. He was trying to just miss the 9 and come off the bottom rail. Tricky little pot coming up here now. But he's had a bit of table time, so this shot's going to feel a little bit easier than, let's say, if Ralph was faced with a shot. But this is not easy. it as well. That's a good sound for Chris. That went in as clean as you like.
I was going to say, he made it look easy, even though you pointed out it certainly wasn't. I know he was practicing hard this morning. I was chatting to him over breakfast, and he was straight off to the practice room immediately after it. He's so excited to be playing here. All these matches that he knows are coming up. He's going to have at least 6 matches, whatever happens. If he keeps going at this rate, he'll have quite a few more.
Yeah, landed perfect on the green 6 as well, so worrying signs for Ralf Souquet fans. These 3 balls, and Chris Melling will be 3-0 up.
Just see from his body language, he's starting to get a bit of rhythm going here. Chris Melling off to a flyer. He's already just 2 racks from victory. He leads Ralf Souquet 3-0.
Yes. Taking pictures.
Oh yeah.
For your interviews.
Can I have another one so I can get an extra bit? I can get 2 inches higher then.
But listen, look. Yes or no?
I would say yes. So that's our logo. What's logo?
So no.
It's this one now.
I couldn't find the new one. All right.
Oh, it wasn't actually on here. No, it is right hand side. What's that, John?
Lonely.
Lonely.
It's kind of lonely.
I know.
You know?
I know.
It's nice. Kind of lonely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just there.
Welcome back to the opening day of the Predator Championship League at Milton Keynes, where Londoner Chris Melling is off to a flying start here against the German legend Ralf Souquet, leading him at the moment by 3 racks to 0 in this race to 5. Over on the other table, Chris Robinson leading Alban Ocean from Austria by 2 racks to 1. And they'll all play a succession of matches. It's a round robin, as we were explaining earlier, and then the top 4 out of the 7 go through to the group semi-finals. The eventual group winner proceeds to the winners group next Monday, and all the other players, except the one who finishes bottom, come back tomorrow for another go. So Ralf Souquet really needs to get something going here. I sort of feel he hasn't really got a foothold yet in this match. His only previous break-off, he potted 3 balls from it. Let's see what he does here in rack 4.
That was a great break shot there from Ralf. but I don't think he's landed on this one. I think the 8-ball's just come and put a blocker in for Ralf there. Let's have a look. Good solid hit though.
"25 years ago this year, he won the World 9-Ball Championship. Beat Tom Storm of Sweden 11 racks to 1 in the final, after Storm had prevented an old German final by seeing off Oliver Ortmann in the semis. He's been back in the final, Souquet, of the World Championship a couple of times since then. Lost to Mika Immonen and to Ronnie Alcano.
There you see Ralph's got to play that push, and I think Chris will put him back, especially if he's left the full ball hook there. Yeah, there you see Ralph's going straight for the jump cue. This was a brave lead from Ralf, but maybe he's just trying to make something happen. He probably knows wherever he pushed to on the top rail, Chris would get down and pot the ball, so he's just trying to make something happen here.
Well, he has made something happen. What he's done is he's given Melling ball in hand here. But you're right though, Carl, I think probably felt he needed to force the issue a bit, because as I was saying when we came back from the break, you sort of feel he hasn't really established himself in this match yet. The jump shot wasn't made any easier by cue ball being so close to the rail. Two-time Mosconi Cup player Chris Melling, on the winning side both times, in Las Vegas in 2011 and London the following year. He's never lost a singles match in the Mosconi.
Well, he's losing the cue ball a lot here. I mean, Chris has been playing a bit of English 8-ball, so how much 9-balls he's been playing, and it's sort of telling here. He's been a little bit fortunate there. He's left the right angle, he can spin this up, which is obviously not good news for Ralf Souquet, because this rack is going to put Chris on the hill in his first match of the event, and now just settling down nicely. Well, you see the cue ball's lost again here. He's near the rail.
As you said earlier though, Carl, he is an outstanding potter, and that can cover a multitude of positional sins. Chris Melling absolutely flying now. As you say, he's on the hill. Ralf Souquet with it all to do. He's 4-0 down.
Yeah, this is just the type of start you want, especially if you can get out the next rack and get your 5-0 victory. It will set you off nice for your campaign in the group.
Yeah, I mean, I think 4 wins and you're pretty much guaranteed to get through. It is mathematically possible to win 4 of your matches and not make the semi-finals, but it's highly unlikely. So 4 almost certainly gets you through. If you get 3 wins, it's probably going to come down then to the frames count back. That's usually, I think, how we're going to see it playing out. That there'll be some players who win maybe 4 or 5, and then there'll be a few hovering around that all-important 4th place on 3 wins, and then it will come back to the count back of racks. Chris Melling, his confidence surely high.
The score is
just looking for one more.
4-0. Mr. Melling is currently breaking on the hill.
And he's made a ball. And there you see the yellow one stayed over that top left pocket, so he's got a shot here. In rack number 5. Actually nearly scratched on the break. You can see the cue ball arc over towards that side. that can often happen when you're breaking off if you don't hit the one ball as square as you would like. And I don't think this is easy as it first looks. And you see he's aiming low on the cue ball. He's going to try and draw the cue ball back out. Just bump the 3, so that's not too bad. Yeah, he's got a little angle here, Michael, so he can just draw this back up to the rail for the red 3.
Yeah, coming in and out of the jaws of the pocket like that. You're never entirely sure what the cue ball is going to do. And as you say, he coped with it well. And this is a chance now to finish this off.
Just a little bit under hit. Still got a shot on this ball. He's getting the cue ball clean, so.
As you say, Carl, he is losing the cue ball a bit. Do you think some of that is just trying to gauge the pace of the table and that will come in time?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's well documented. Chris plays, you know, he dabbles in all the cue sports, and you know, if you're going to do that, maybe your cue ball's not going to be as clinical as the likes of some of the other top pool players. So, you know, I mean, as we've touched on, he's such a fantastic potter of the ball and a natural cueist. I suppose the dangerous thing is, as the week goes on, the better he's going to get with the cue ball positioning and things like that.
I think you'll see the standards going so high by the end of the week, because with this format, so many players are going to have played a huge number of matches against real quality opponents, and they can only drive the standards up.
Yeah, so he found the right line there, but it was slightly under hit. And it won't be the end of the world as long as he can pop this ball and miss the cannon on the brown 7. It all depends on if he can miss this cannon. He's down pretty quick, so that usually tells you a story. And there you see again, he's landed straight, just off straight. So you can see the full match he's really struggled with the cue ball. He's been after pulling out shot after shot. And it does look like he's got the faintest of angles. Can he get this cue ball round? No, he tried, didn't he? He did try.
Well, that underlined what you were saying, Carl. It was just the faintest of angles, and that was why he really had to try to force the issue.
I think this is why Chris is such a fan's favourite, because you never know what you're going to get with Chris. It's never a clinic, and there's always some kind of drama. And there you see, there's still a bit of hope for Ralf Souquet. He does have a bank shot, and I think we'll see Ralf trying to bank this ball into the right centre for his first rack on the board.
Yeah, all or nothing really. If the shot comes off, he probably will get back to 4-1. If it doesn't, and 7 starts running around the table, every chance it could be his last shot of the match.
And he's elected to play safe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. But at 4-0 down, I think I'd have been swinging at the bank shot, but each to their own. Chris has got an interesting shot here. You can just see where he's walked over there with his hand. He's trying to play a bank shot into the bottom left pocket and get the cue ball over there. So if he misses the bank, the black 8 ball might just cover and leave Ralf hooked. So let's have a look at this one. See, he's made the bank and he sat on the 8, so he's been a little bit unfortunate there. He's kind of played every shot perfect, but you can never 100% tell where the cue ball's going to finish, and it's sat right on top of the 8. I mean, he's looking up as if like he's been a bit. Has he been a bit unlucky there? I don't know. I suppose he has. Good bank shot though.
Well, he was relying on luck a little bit, and he didn't get it. From the positional point of view, we can certainly say that. That turns out just slightly different positionally. And it's really just a formality from there to close out the 5-0.
Yeah, this is tricky. This, whenever the cue ball is close to the object ball, it's always a little bit scary. Was he looking at the pot there? I don't know what he was looking at. Is he looking at the pot? Is this even on? Really thin. He's got a. Well, there must be a gap. I think he's actually going for the pot. Bottom left, really thin. The cue ball will travel fast, and he's made the pot. That's why he's a fan's favourite, because shots like this just keep coming whenever Chris Melling is at the pool table. This 9-ball for a 5-0 win.
Well, I said earlier, Chris Melling was so excited this morning about the prospect of getting this tournament underway. He'll be even more excited about it now, because he's beaten the German legend Ralf Souquet by 5.